want to ask you about how you came to be involved in the Lampoon.
Well, from dating. I often have said that I got into comedy the same way Catherine the Great got into politics, on my back. And I was fixed up on a blind date by a guy named Sean Kelly, who I had worked with in advertising in Montreal, Canada. And I was fixed up on a blind date with Michelle Chiquette, who was a writer and comedian. And he and Sean were working for this new magazine that was in a startup phase in New York, National Lampoon. And so Michelle brought me to New York, and I started sort of helping Michelle with his articles. And then from that, I kind of graduated to actually getting my own byline, which I had to fight. I had actually to fight for. I had to sort of speak up and go, wait, hold on, this is more than helping. I mean, it wasn't like I said, oh, if I sleep with this guy, then I can get into writing comedy. But I mean, I think what happened is that I was attracted to him, and presumably he to me, because of a mutual sensibility that was comedic. And then I was like, oh, these guys are doing this cool stuff, and I want to do it too. And that was kind of really the only way that women did get into comedy at that point. At that time, comedy was not really a career choice. It was not a career choice. It was something that people kind of who couldn't get any other jobs did. If you couldn't get up in the morning and you basically were unemployable, you could go into comedy. So, you know, it was not something that was being taught at expensive universities as it is today by people like myself. So, you know, it was kind of like, oh, they're starting this magazine and how interesting. And, you know, I want to be connected to and a part of this. And I can remember several sort of epiphany moments connected with that. And I mean, I do owe a debt of gratitude to Michelle because he would bring me, they would have these dinner meetings at very bad restaurants like Steak and Brew and so on, terrible Indian restaurants.
Sounds like a nice place, Steak and Brew.
Where they served cat, you know. I mean, it was the lowest restaurants in New York. It would be these editorial meetings where dinner was paid for, right? And the guys, and they would kind of drink a lot of beer, and then they would talk about the issue that they were currently working on, and all the issues of the Lampoon at that time had themes. So, you know, it would be around a certain theme. And like I once worked on the boredom issue. And so, you know, politics or whatever it would be. And people would jot down ideas on napkins and so on, and later on they would go like, well, whose idea was that? And, you know, it would turn out to have been my idea. And then they were kind of stuck. And you know, Michelle just brought me to those dinners. And I remember one time in a Chinese restaurant that Doug Kenny, who was one of the original founders of the magazine along with Henry Beard, and I remember Doug, you know, getting up from the table to call his wife, you know, and it was one of those like, honey, well, I'll be home, you know, I'll be home at 9. Well, no, I'll be home at 10. Well, maybe I'll be home at 11 kind of things. And I thought, you know what? I never want to be on the other end of that phone. I never want to be on the other end of the phone. I want to be here.
Dude, what was it?